Is your child's anxiety really holding them back from experiencing their absolute best life? As parents, we want nothing more than for our children to really be happy, to be healthy, and especially as they hit grade school and teenage years. Now, calm and confident. We just want them to be calm and confident going forward in life. But the reality is that even before all the lockdowns and the added pressures that COVID restrictions put on our kids, there was already a mental health crisis of anxiety brewing in our schools and in our families. And then for teens, it doubled once again during COVID. The CDC states that about 10% of our kids are struggling with anxiety right now. But other sites and studies put the rates much higher than even 10%, especially for our teens. In our practice, not only have we seen more and more kids struggling with anxiety, but the absolute worst part that we're seeing it is that it's younger and earlier than ever before now. When I first got into practice, the earliest we were seeing anxiety was high school. And now we've seen kids as young as preschool and kindergarten struggling with anxiety and sensory issues so bad that they can't even make it through the door the next day. Now, my name is Dr. Eric. I am one of the pediatric chiropractors here at Adio Chiropractic. Now, we focus on pediatrics, prenatal, and whole family wellness here in the Madison and Middleton area. Now, this goes far beyond attachment issues or parenting and points to something deeper going on, which is exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. First, we'll address the most important question. What are the real root causes of anxiety? Is it really just a genetic or a chemical imbalance like traditional doctors continue to say? Or is it just social media and cell phones? Or is there something even deeper going on? And is stress plus toxicity hitting our kids earlier in life than ever before and creating what we call this perfect storm of stress and anxiety that gets stuck and hardwired into their nervous systems? This video is perfect not just for parents whose children are struggling with anxiety, but more importantly, those parents who want drug-free options and solutions that get to the root cause of their child's anxiety and address it really head on going forward. Now, before I go any more in depth into this video, please share this video with other moms, other parents who you know need to hear this message. We are on a mission to change this trajectory. We are tired of seeing parents and kids struggle. And let's talk about Avery. Now, at first glance, Avery was this successful and even exceptional fifth grade student. And in the classroom, she consistently scored high marks on tests and on assignments while contributing really to class discussions. And she is extremely active and talented in both really cheerleading and in dance. And her coaches are always impressed by her drive every day and by her focus and her determination to really succeed. Her teachers and coaches always would praise her level of hard work and dedication. And Avery thrives from sometimes in these conditions, which a lot of kids do. But at home, her parents would see something completely different when asking her to either complete her homework, eat dinner, or get to sleep. Avery began to complain of have headaches, of insomnia, and her appetite became really irregular. And she had troubles concentrating when doing her homework at home, and her attitude just kept on declining, her parents said, becoming really snippy and rude to her parents and even her brother. She still is that same talented, unique, and special young person who succeeds during the day, but she seems stressed and increasingly unhappy and anxious at home. Now, what happened in Avery's life? That's a question we get a lot from parents. And it's a difficult question, and one that quickly leads to further difficult questions. Why does the same drive and intensity that once helped Avery succeed now push her outside of her comfort levels? How much of that drive is too much, and at what point does it start to really hamper her day-to-day life? And for Avery and so many of her peers, the answer may lie in recognizing really the signs of high-functioning anxiety. So let's dive into that science behind high anxiety, right? And it deals with, and we might get some of that nervous stomach, so we'll talk about that too. So what is really the definition of anxiety? Anxiety is described as an intense feeling of worry or fear about the future, which can manifest through thoughts, through emotions, and through physical sensations. It's totally normal for a child or a person to have some anxiety before a big test, a big game, or so forth. But if they have it every day, just going into school or going through routine daily tasks, that's where the struggle really sets in for kids and for families. And some signs and symptoms of anxiety, some common ones in children are listed as including nervousness, restlessness, increased heart rate, which deals with the nervous system, trouble concentrating, difficulty sleeping, and even gastrointestinal, so digestive problems, known as that nervous stomach that a lot of your kids maybe have experienced. And some sensory or spectrum connections, like most neurological conditions in kids, there are usually multiple challenges all wrapped together, which is why so many kids with sensory processing disorder, autism, ADHD also have significant issues with anxiety. Our neural-focused and root cause approach here at ADIO Chiropractic, both our clinical expertise and our latest scientific research proves that anxiety is caused by more than just genetics and chemical imbalances, and is instead actually caused by and triggered by continual exposure to stress and toxins in our environment. It deals with epigenetics, especially early during pregnancy, labor and delivery, and early childhood, something that we really call the perfect storm when it comes to a lot of these challenges, which explains how these things become a vicious cycle and get stuck early on in our kiddos. Like talking about birth interventions and trauma connections, like in all neurodevelopmental disorders in kids, we strongly feel the single most overlooked and missed aspect of anxiety is the role that birth interventions and birth trauma really play in that. Where common and heavily used interventions like C-section, where the pulling, forceps, vacuum extraction, induction can stimulate our sympathetic fight and flight response within our child's nervous system from an early age. And that over time gets stuck on and far too easily stimulated and activated, leading to long-term things. And subluxation, which is what we talk about in dysautonomia and the vagus nerve, all of these things are nerdy terms that we often use a lot. And and getting into subluxation and dysautonomia, which both occur when the nervous system is stuck in this sympathetic overdrive, which also means that the parasympathetic and the vagus nerve, which is our rest, relax, and digest, our regulation side of our nervous system, are shut down and they're suppressed. Now, what we want to do is measure that dysautonomia and vagus nerve function, and our drug-free approach to care begins first with our cutting edge, state-of-the-art neurological technology that we call our insight scans. And most notably, our HRV, which is our heart rate variability, which can measure how stressed out and stuck on the sympathetic nervous system we really are, or our kid really is. And most importantly, how shut down and dysfunctional the vagus nerve may be within our body. Now, drug-free options that really activate the vagus nerve. Now, we obviously feel strongly that leading care option for this generation and all future generations of kids and adults struggling with anxiety needs to move far beyond just simple drugs and medications that really just cover up the symptoms, and only needs to focus entirely, and we need to focus entirely on activating and stimulating the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. And the goal of our neurologically focused chiropractic neurotonal type of care is exactly that makes our care unique and so helpful at vastly improving the quality of life for our patients, for our kids and families that are struggling with anxiety. We do not seek to treat the symptoms or cure anxiety, but actually focus on stimulating and activating the vagus nerve and getting the autonomic nervous system back into a calmer and more regulated state. Now, to close this video, and I'll talk more about this in the next video later this week, but first, please ask any questions or leave a comment down below or send us a direct message. Second, please share this video with other parents, other family members, other Facebook groups who you know need to hear this. Third, is get a drug-free focused neurological help today by clicking the link below or the one that's in our Instagram bio and about anxiety and its root causes within dysautonomia, the vagus nerve, and so much more. There absolutely is hope, answers, and drug-free help for your child, and it starts by learning more on our website or sending us a direct message to find out about how we, with neurologically chiropractic care, may be able to help your kid and help your family.